Please welcome to the stage Sarah Bond, president of Xbox at Microsoft, for a conversation with Bloomberg's Dina Bass.
Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. So I want to start talking about the industry in general. You and Microsoft Games CEO Phil Spencer have been raising kind of the alarm that the video game industry is just not growing, and there's a real need to figure out how to reverse that. What's causing the issue, and how does Xbox turn it around?
Yeah, the last year or so in video games, largely the industry's been flat. And even in 2023, we saw just some tremendous releases, tremendously groundbreaking games, but still the growth didn't follow all of that. And a lot of that's related to our need to bring new players in, make gaming more accessible, but all of that has been happening at the same time that the cost associated with making these beautiful AAA blockbuster games is going up, and the time it takes to make them is going up. And so much of our focus as Xbox is about how we do things to help the industry all up, while also ensuring that our brand, everything that we do is there through this moment of transition.
Related to some of the trends you're identifying, earlier this week, Xbox announced the shuttering of 4 game studios. I know you're not the studio's chief, but how should gamers understand that move in terms of Microsoft's commitment to developing innovative exclusive games?
Yeah, it's always extraordinarily hard when you have to make decisions like that. I'll go back to what I was saying about the industry, and when we looked at those fundamental trends, we feel a deep responsibility to ensure that the games we make, the devices we build, the services that we offer are there through moments, even when the industry isn't growing and when you're through a time of transition. And the news we announced earlier this week is an outcome of that. And our commitment to make sure that the business is healthy for the long term. But that said, our commitment to having our own studios and working with partners to have games large and small, we're a platform where you can play GTA, but you can also play Power World, where you can play Call of Duty, and you can also play Pentiment. That doesn't change. And frankly, our commitment to Bethesda and the role that it plays is part of Xbox in everything we do. It's actually been pretty fantastic. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to check it out. The Fallout TV show was on Amazon, and it's been great to see people fall in love with that universe, but also what it's done for the games themselves, and people going back and exploring everything that's inside of that. There's some other great things that are coming from our studios later this year. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I was a big indie fan growing up. Looks like you were too. So you should check that out. But really right now for us and our teams, our focus is on the people impacted and doing everything that we can do to help them through this hard transition.
I think one of the things that was most upsetting both to Xbox gamers and to employees is that one of the shuttered studios in particular just created a hit game, did really well on Game Pass in terms of engagement, and won a ton of awards. Shouldn't succeeding in that way ensure the future of a studio?
One of the things I really love about the games industry is it's a creative art form. And it means that the situation and what success is for each game and studio is also really unique. Like, there's no one size fits all to it for us. And so we look at each studio, each game team, and we look at a whole variety of factors when we're faced with sort of making decisions and trade-offs like that. But it all comes back to our long-term commitment to the games we create, the devices we build, the services, and ensuring that we're setting ourselves up to be able to deliver on those promises.
Talking further about growth, I mean, one of the key focus areas for Xbox in terms of growth, and this was also one of the key bets in the Activision acquisition, was mobile.
Mm-hmm.
What's the Xbox plan for future mobile gaming, and when can we finally see it?
Yeah, it feels like it's been a long time since we announced the Activision acquisition, which we completed in October. And the whole thesis about that, a lot of why we did it, was about mobile. And we felt strongly that there has been an opportunity for there to be an experience on mobile that is centered around gamers. Like, we talk a lot about how there's 3 billion gamers in the world. 2 of those billion play on mobile, and half of those actually play on mobile and they play on another device. But there isn't actually a gaming platform and store experience that is centered around players and goes truly across device, where who you are, your library, your identity, your rewards, that travels with you versus being locked to a single ecosystem. And we've recognized that opportunity for a long time, but we wanted to make sure that anything we built was really grounded in people who play those mobile native games and the creators of them. And so being joined with a team that has real deep expertise in mobile was important to us. But we are that now. And so in July, we are going to be launching our mobile store experience. We're going to start, actually, by bringing our own first-party portfolio to that. So you're going to see games like Candy Crush show up in that experience, games like Minecraft. And then we're going to extend that capability to partners so that they can also take advantage of it and have a true cross-platform, gaming-centric mobile experience. We're going to start on the web. And we're doing that because that really allows us to have it be an experience that's accessible across all devices, all countries, no matter what, independent of the policies of closed ecosystem stores. And then we're going to extend from there. So I'm excited about it just because it's something that we wanted to do for a long time. We've heard gamers talking about it for a long time, and we're now at the point where we can take those steps.
And so in July when it launches, we at that point at the beginning see Candy Crush and Minecraft in it, or how soon, or?
You'll see things roll out over time.
Do you know how soon partners will be able to use it as well?
Our goal is to get partners using it shortly after launch. We really want to make sure we start and we scale using our own IP first. That allows us to make sure that the experience that we bring partners into really builds on all the quality and learning that we have as a team.
Another big discussion point in the Activision acquisition was cloud gaming and how big that market really was. When will we really see it gain traction? Is it gaining users finally in any particular regions and scenarios? How is it doing? What do people use it for?
Yeah, so, cloud gaming, for those that don't know, I don't know if everyone here in the audience is familiar with it, is just the ability to play a game natively from the cloud. So you don't need to actually have a piece of hardware in your home, and you can experience something that's AAA Xbox gaming on any device, regardless of the local compute that you have. And we have been investing in that for some time because we really believe that opening up sort of these beautiful immersive experiences to more gamers is important for industry growth, for developers, and we know people want to play those experiences. And we're seeing tremendous growth there. We have more demand than supply in that area, and you'll see us rolling out more capacity, introducing more options for people to jump in and play on the cloud.
And is it growing faster than the overall market? We were talking about the market itself is down. Where is cloud gaming?
It is growing faster than the overall market, really bringing in new players and growth for us. So it's an area where we're investing more and we're excited about.
Earlier this year, Xbox announced for the first time that it was bringing a slate of Xbox-developed games, Xbox-exclusive games, to rival platforms, to Sony's PlayStation, Nintendo Switch. That obviously was a big change. It was a little bit unsettling for some of the Xbox hardware fans, but how is it going so far? Do you have any data about how the games are doing? Just do PlayStation gamers really want to play Sea of Thieves?
It's early days yet, so I don't have specific data to share, but we are really encouraged by the reception of our games. And one thing that I think it's important to note is, as Xbox, we've been putting games on other platforms for a long time. Minecraft is available pretty much universally. The teams at Bethesda have had games on other platforms. The teams at Activision Blizzard have games on other platforms. And so it's a decision we just make on a game-by-game basis as we move forward and continue to execute on our strategy.
At the same time, we've talked about mobile, we've talked about cloud. Of course, Xbox itself's heritage is in console. And, the energy around the console right now is a little challenged. Many of the hardcore long-term customers are worried. They're worried about the release on other platforms. They're worried that that may indicate that Xbox is defocusing its own hardware. What do you say to them? How do you make them feel like Xbox is still for them?
Yeah, first, the worry that I see is happening across the industry, and I think is a lot of what we're seeing, just industry all up. But specific to core gamers, my focus has really been on engineering and building that next generation hardware experience that really, really taps in to their needs. I talked about this a little bit publicly a few months ago. I talked about how our focus is on delivering the biggest leap ever. And that's about really thinking through every aspect of what that hardware and what that experience delivers with the core gamer in mind. And that is about power and performance. That's absolutely a part of it. But it's also about the ability to be able to play all of the games. We have people who have been playing on Xbox for decades, have invested thousands and thousands of dollars and hours with us, and to be able to take all of those games with them into the hardware of the future. So one of the decisions I made when I came in and became president of Xbox was to establish a team dedicated to that, to game preservation and ensuring that future generations, future iterations, that you get to take those things with you forward. The next part of that is saying, okay, I get to bring those games with me. I'm invested in those games. I get an incredible high-performance experience on my console, but also continuing our commitment to make sure that gamers can bring their games with them wherever they want to play, that my Xbox library is something that can go with me and that I can enjoy with others. So our long-term commitment to cross-play is part of that, and our commitment to cross-progression and cloud saves, so you can pick up on one device and you can play on another, is part of that. And also our investments in cloud gaming, which you referenced earlier. A lot of those who use cloud gaming are people who own a console. They're just, they want to play it on another device and go somewhere else. So that's the second piece. And then the last piece is about Game Pass. We know our core users love Game Pass. Game Pass is a gaming subscription. You get a whole portfolio of games, but importantly, you get every single one of our games that we build day one in Game Pass. And the quality and the breadth of those games has only been going up over time, and you're going to see some more really big games going into Game Pass later this year.
From Activision's portfolio?
Across the whole slate. You're going to see some really amazing things. And keeping that as something that is really special for Xbox players is central for us.
A lot of the focus at this conference today has been AI. But AI for gamers is a little different than we talk about AI for the enterprise or for healthcare. Where do you think AI will be important, both to players and to game developers? And how is Microsoft investing against that?
Yeah. I didn't hear all the talks today, but I think we can all confidently say that we are right at the beginning of what AI means for us as a society. And for businesses in general, and that's absolutely true in gaming as well. For us, we take our responsibility around AI as Microsoft very seriously and being really, really thoughtful about what we do. And as Xbox, there's something really unique about being a gaming company that is part of a major AI company. And so all of our focus within our team is about how we ensure that gaming AI is really crafted in a way that delivers unique and delightful experiences to players and adds real value for developers. So there's three things we look at as part of that. The first is around developer velocity. How do we give developers tools to make it easier for them to realize their creations, to speed up iteration cycles, and also, frankly, to make it easier for people who may not have as much in-depth training on game development to build a game? We know that with that, there's just going to be a huge proliferation of gaming content and options out there. So that leads us very naturally to the next layer where we're investing a lot, which is around discovery and making sure that people can really be matched with the game experience that we know that they'll love, and that a whole range of creations can be discovered from the biggest games, but also from something novel and new that you may not have intuitively known to look for, but you're going to love if you experience it. And then the last piece is around the actual experience in the game. Engagement, delight, playing through and having a fun time, not getting stuck, all the things that come with that. So that you can get really the most out of the game experience. So we are early in this, as I said. You'll see us share things, and things will come out during the course of the year. But our focus just really continues to be on keeping player at the center, keeping the developer at the center, and how AI turns up in gaming.
Xbox President Sarah Bond, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.